The digital world moves fast, but real growth comes from real conversations. This is e-Coffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Victor here again with We Coffee with Experts. We were just talking about how the weather is crazy right now in January, February, at least here in Portugal. And I have another person to talk about how Spain is also cold. Margit is here with us today. She's the co-director of marketing at SiteSell. She's going to talk about everything that SiteSell does. So I won't even spoil it all to you. What I can tell is that she's a lovable person. Margit, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Victor. I'm doing very, very well. Thanks for having me.
No, of course. It's our honor, it's our pleasure. You have so much to talk about. You've been working with this for such a long time that people naturally will want to understand more about your life. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't you start talking about, who you are, the things that you do? Is this the current market, the current profession that you have? Is this a childhood dream? Why are you into it? Why are you working at SiteSell? The more you can share, the more people can get to know about Margit, the better.
So, as a child, I was actually more of an explorer. I was fortunate to grow up in a tiny village in Bavaria, in Germany. So, there was a lot of wilderness to explore. So, I was out and about and imagining on horseback because I always loved horses and other animals, cats, dogs, and so on. So, imagining having really exciting adventures. So, I didn't really think about becoming an entrepreneur. And I guess this exploration spirit also then infused my decision to study geography at Munich University. I think only later when something happened, I actually got fired from my first job. So that's a story for another day, maybe. Anyway, the good thing that came out of it was with my then colleague, we decided that we would start our own company. So he and me, we started our own small business, and we specialized in doing climate and air pollution studies for town planning. Yeah, so I think we were quite advanced at that time. We had our own thermal scanner, which we used to record heat maps of the towns. So we could see the heat islands and the cold air currents or cold air corridors. From that, we then created digital maps and also printed maps and gave our recommendations to the towns. So that was my first job for quite a few years. And then how did I get into marketing? Well, the reason might seem strange. The reason was actually I wanted to leave Germany and live in an English-speaking country because English is my favorite language. And then there was a position opening up at Google's European headquarters in Dublin, and I applied for the job. I got the job, and I moved to Ireland, to Dublin with my little daughter. And ever since I've been in advertising and marketing.
Well, so from heat mapping, actually, now I believe you do heat mapping as well, but in a different way. Or maybe you worked it in a different way than literally thermal.
True, yes.
Yes, right? We have
Totally, yeah.
different heat maps right now
That
in
is true.
marketing.
Yes,
So
yes.
we can say, everybody who's watching us, we can say that Margit is a heat mapping expert right now. No matter the map, she's your gal. She will help you with it all. This is actually a really nice bit of trivia for us to get started because again, it's whenever we talk, me, for example, I'm right now here with you working in marketing, but this is my entire career. But you starting it off totally different in a different place, surrounded by the wilderness, as you say. There is even an industry leader in the video game market who have a really similar background story to yours. He lived in, I'm not gonna say countryside, but he said that he was close to animals, cats and dogs. And that's why he started Pokemon.
Okay. Well, yeah, that turned out to be quite something, no?
Yes, it did. It did. That's for sure did. But this, again, it's not about Pokemon. Margit, today you're working at SiteSell. As I said, you're the co-director of marketing, and SiteSell is, for those who are unaware, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you offer tools and ways to help companies grow their business, start a website, literally get the first step into digital marketing environment. Is that it?
Yes, correct. Except from one thing, we do not work with companies, we work with individuals. So people like you and me who have, many of our customers have some hobby, from raising chickens to drawing or taking nature photography, or also business topics. And we provide a complete system to help these people, even if they're complete beginners, to build a profitable online business. So not
That's
just a
great.
website, but a business that you will make money with.
I see. And even in terms of marketing, is this something that you're helping your customers with, ads, SEO, anything else?
Yeah, we not only provide the platform and the tools, but we have a very comprehensive training. We call it the action guide. It has 10 days. Well, it's really chapters that lead you from understanding the concept of having an online business, finding the right niche, keyword brainstorming, to building content, to being found in search engines, to do other marketing. So yeah, all of this we teach our customers. We do not do it for them. I mean, we also have kind of do it for your services, but our main thing is to educate our customers. And we have a very lively forum where people can exchange and communicate. And we also have almost weekly live Zoom calls. So people can just call in and get their questions answered on the spot. I mean, I think that is something that usually costs quite a lot of money. And with us, it's included in the subscription. So you get the
That's
whole
great.
package. Yeah.
And it's even better to know that it's not a chatbot with AI that's going to reply back to them.
No,
right?
no, real people, real people.
Real people.
Real
And it's
people.
interesting because 4 years ago, we were moving in this direction of chatbot taking over the support market, right?
Yes.
Everybody wanted a chatbot. Everybody wanted to stress down the phone lines of the company, making sure that the support from the human side would be a second or third level. But what I'm looking at right now is actually a resistance in terms of having chatbots as a support channel, let's just say. I'm seeing more people, when they go to the chatbot, they already reply with agent or talk to human because they don't want to deal with it all. But you and I know that AI is growing faster than we would ever plan or expect, right? And companies and business, especially those that are starting now, they might need AI to build something, to start a document, to start a process and use it, leverage it in a way that is going to be positive down the line. But what's your view into it? Let's dive deep into SiteSell.
Flabbergasted what you can do with it and how quickly it develops. On the other hand, I'm also kind of scared, not because I'm afraid that AGI or superintelligence will take over the world and destroy the planet. We as humans are quite capable of doing it ourselves.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yes.
We've been doing it greatly for the past few
exactly.
years.
But I am scared that we pour so much resources and money into all these tools. When you hear how much money they're raising, it's totally crazy. And I think there are so many other areas where we would need that money much more urgently. So that's the one thing. And the other thing that I also don't like is how many resources, especially energy and water, all these huge data centers and chip fabrics and whatever, use up. And so they contribute to the problems we already have with water shortage. I mean, here in Andalusia, where I live, it's certainly a big problem, maybe also where you are in Portugal. And then, of course, climate change. So that kind of scares me a little bit. But on the other hand, I see the advantages, and I know it's not going away. Genie out of the bottle. And I count myself lucky that I work at a company where our CEO and founder, Ken Eboy, has a lot of foresight and he knows a lot about how this kind of all hangs together and how also artificial intelligence will impact our customers and search and marketing and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So shortly after ChatGPT was first launched in November 2022, we began already developing our own AI tool.
Okay.
So because we knew that our customers would need something like that, yeah. If you don't do it, you're kind of left behind.
Yes, it's true.
But we wanted to give them something that was tailored to their needs. And their main needs is creating high quality content in their niche, you know. So we wanted to give them something that would help them with that the best way possible. And that's how Tai, so TAI, TAI, business building assistant was created, completely integrated into Solo Build It, our platform. But it also exists as a standalone product. So yeah, so for anybody who would like to give it a try, you can find it at thai.sitesell.com.
The link will be in the description down below,
Perfect.
just so
Yes.
everybody wants to
Yeah.
check it out. All
Yes.
of the links regarding Margit's work and herself will be in the description down below. Okay, folks, you know already.
Perfect.
Margit, don't you worry, we got you covered. And now regarding Thai, because you have an audience who were before Thai, I imagine, and an audience who is after Thai has been born and being implemented into the business. But talking about those who were already there before it, how did they take the move? How is it now? How much did it change for them having Thai around?
So most feedback we got was positive. I mean, there are also some people who simply do not like AI and don't want to have anything to do with it. And that's fine. And they don't have to use it. Also, I think it's difficult to avoid it altogether. But you don't have to use Gen AI tools to create content or images or videos. Yeah, you can still do it yourself. But most of our customers were delighted that they would get such a tool that is integrated into our system, and that we would also, as we always do, give really comprehensive education how to best use it. Because if you probably know that yourself when you use ChatGPT or Gemini or any of the tools, it depends very much on the quality of your prompt, what you get back.
For sure. I mastered at any terms, but here in my
Correct.
family and my friend circle, I'm the prompt master. Again, I'm not good at it. I would never charge anybody for my work in prompting. But I just have the patience of, seeing it as a baby who literally needs to be educated over
Exactly.
and over and
Yes.
over.
And because we thought that our customers probably also have the problem of maybe not knowing what a good prompt consists of.
Yeah. Yes.
So one of the main components of Thai is actually what we call prompt build it. So it's like a fully guided prompt wizard. It guides you through. First, you give it the topic of the blog post you want to write, and then it guides you through 6 questions about your target audience and what your purpose is, and so on. So that you really then it spits out quite a comprehensive prompt, which you then put into the next module to help you craft your.
I see. It makes a lot of sense. And does Thai, even after the prompting, help your customers with, for example, you mentioned content and educating customers? Both are walking together, and one of the most important things in 2025. Also help your customers with email marketing or getting into touch with their customers or something like that, because sales by itself is a really rough market, especially nowadays with AI. You have a lot of accounts reaching out daily, and you see easily when it's an AI generated email. You see easily when it's not, because the issue, it's not about being an AI generated, it's about being a bad prompt AI generated email.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
have those Bibles where you have to read about who they are, the things they did, their customers, how they can help. It doesn't resonate anymore.
No.
And by your reaction, I imagine you feel the same. So how is it today as well?
Yeah, that's totally true. So you can certainly use Thai as well to draft an email. Its main purpose is really to draft well-researched long-form articles, but you can use it for anything else as well. But one of the most important tips we give is that never ever use what you get back from the Gen AI tool. Even if you think it's fantastic, never use it as it is. For nothing, not for an email, not for a social media post, and especially not for a blog post. Yeah. So we coined this term that we call just add you.
Amazing. Just add you. Yes.
Once you have the basis back, which is probably really good, you have to rewrite it in your own, to bring in your own personality. You need to add your own experience, anecdotes, images.
Humanize the text.
Exactly. Right? You humanize the text and in your own voice. So if you don't do that, then at the end of the day, Google will get sophisticated enough to really spot purely AI generated content. I mean, they do say it doesn't really matter whether it's AI generated or human generated, but it has to be of the highest quality. It has to be relevant to the searcher. It has to be valuable to them. No? And that's exactly what we teach and recommend, no matter whether you use any AI or you don't.
Well, since you just brought Google to the conversation, I'm just going to ask again, because you brought it. And I'm loving to know more about how you're working people get their business up and running. This is great. This is really helpful nowadays. We're always going to be talking, especially in the AI age, but it is true. A lot of things have changed now with AI, right? You
Yeah.
have the consumer wants quicker responses, people want quicker results, and we know this usually doesn't come the way we want. Quick results in business, right?
Mm,
Where we can talk
okay.
about ads, we can talk about SEO, we can talk about any kind of marketing, but it's not controllable. You can do your best, you can
Mm-hmm.
optimize your best, but it's not in your control. But how do you position this side of the business, the marketing side of the business to your customers? Because if I'm catching correctly, and especially with the conversations that I had in the past, you have to educate your customers. Not all of them know what they want. Not all of them know what they need, but you do. At least, of course, you know more about it. You've been specialized in it. So
Mm-hmm.
today, how is whenever reach you and they have a low digital maturity, how do you handle such an account? How do you handle the marketing side of this account? What are the tools that you like to use? What are the tools that you don't like to use? Of course, SiteSell and the things that you sell are one of those tools, but talking ChatGPT, Gemini, anything else.
Okay. So you mean specifically in my own work as a marketer?
Can be. Yes, of course. Of course. We want to know about the marketer and how she helps people get their marketing together. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, my role within SiteSell has evolved quite a lot. So when I
Okay.
started back in 2010, I was mainly responsible for or we didn't have a social media presence back then. So it was my task to get us onto Facebook and Twitter, now X, and YouTube. We focus on these three. So I was responsible for that, and we grew our Facebook account to quite a big following. And then my role involved into going more into content marketing or working with influencers, collaborations, and also when I started, we didn't really have a good email marketing system, and this is actually my absolute favorite part of marketing, email marketing. Yeah,
Love
because
email marketing as well.
yeah, it's just I like writing, but I don't like writing long blog posts, but I like writing shorter emails that
Okay.
really speak to the person on the other end. So when I think about how to be really good at email marketing and create emails that resonate with your audience and what we also teach our customers. So I think three things are really important. One is consistency. So you need
Okay.
to decide what schedule you can realistically keep. So let's say once per week, then also write once per week. Send out a newsletter, an email once per week. Best is always the same day and time of the week.
Do you have a favorite day that you always recommend, by the way?
We ourselves do our marketing emails on Mondays
On Mondays. Okay. To
and
start the
our
week.
to start the
Yeah.
week, and also because we have autoresponders or workflows, and I try to send those out on other days. So
I
that
see.
and one reason is that they don't get two emails from us on the same day. It doesn't always work like that, but that's the
But it
reasoning
is a
also
good
behind it.
practice.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it is. It is. Well,
yeah.
please. Okay, okay. Sorry to interrupt you about the
uh,
date. It's just a
Not at
curiosity
all.
that everybody has, right?
Yes,
When
true,
and where to
exactly.
send.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
and we did some testing, and our internal newsletter to our customers only we send on a Friday afternoon. So
Okay, I
because
see.
we did some testing around that, and that seemed to be best for our customers, maybe because then the weekend is ahead and they can read it and maybe can continue working on their own online business, because many of those have a 9 to 5 job, or a day job, and then so that's what we do.
Yeah, they're
So
growing the business as a side project now to
exactly,
then
yes,
replace the 9 to 5 to the business
yeah,
when it's ready,
yeah.
right?
That's
Yes.
that's the and it's a good strategy, because when you start an online business, unless you already have a brand name, you will not earn money overnight.
No.
Anybody telling you that is get rich quick scheme or scam, and that's just not true. But back to email marketing. So the first is consistency. Second is providing value in every email, or at least, of course, you also will send promotional emails or
For
pure
sure.
sales emails, but you should always give before you ask.
I agree.
And the
I
third
agree.
one, which I think is really important, is don't think about you're sending something to your list, because a list is something anonymous, something. you are there is a real person on the other end. Yeah, a real person is going to read your email, and they have their own problems. They have a bad day, they have a good day. Just think about this person that you are writing to, and make it so that it resonates with him or her.
Well, that's actually pretty good advice down the line because, yeah, again, sometimes I see companies focusing too much about who they are,
Yeah.
right? So I do X and Y and Z. I would help you with A, B, C. And again, it's not resonating anymore because every day you get emails that tell you that they can help you with X and Y and Z.
Yeah.
Why should I trust email 1 when I have email 2 right here with me and they say the same thing, right? And this is something that we will definitely see more and more, especially with AI. And then you're just telling us, please, you do the writing after the AI composes it, humanize it, make sure that it resonates with the other person down on the other side of the screen, right?
Yes.
And everything else that we already know. Email marketing, especially with mobiles in our lives, can also be a challenge because of the format, right? You
Yeah,
say
that
that
is true.
you don't like long emails, but what is a long email, right? Is it long for a smart screen
Yes.
like this one, or is it long for a desktop view? So you always have to think about it.
Exactly.
But social media, it's easier when you think about sizing because it is for quick content.
Yeah.
Quicker.
Also, I have to say on Facebook, we also have made quite good experiences with longer posts.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
Tell us more about it.
I do sometimes also run advertising campaigns, and then I test just really short main text against a longer text where you tell more about the product you are advertising. Sometimes in my experience, the longer text does better. Maybe it doesn't get more clicks, but it gets the better clicks and it has better conversions then.
Depending on what you sell and what you do, you need to talk.
Totally.
Right.
I mean, with a product like ours, which is kind of really a bit tricky to explain because we are not just a blogging platform, we are not just a hosting platform, we are something else, and explaining that takes a bit more text.
I agree. I 100% agree. So we were just talking about, again, tailoring the content for growth and engagement. What else can I think about here? Because talking with a marketing expert, I at least have 1,000 questions for you, right? Because I can ask a lot of things. We have so many tools and ways and channels to talk about, but now content is indeed one of the keywords that I'm hearing. People are taking more time with content. People are putting more importance in content. Those who want and those who understand the importance of it, right? Because 20 minutes ago, we were talking about the opposite, about those who don't care at all. But you do have those who care a lot about it. And I can see that you are one of those people. Did it change a lot over the years when you started working at SiteSell? Do you remember how content was compared to what it is today? Did it change a lot? Did it evolve a lot?
Oh, yes. It evolved so much. I was actually first a customer of SiteSell before I became an employee or working for them, because that's true for most of my colleagues as well, because we use our own products. And when I look back at when I started my website, how I wrote, and also which keywords I sometimes chose, really just maybe it was just a single word which kind of never had any chance of ever ranking at Google or other search engines, And this has also evolved a lot. In the beginning, we recommended you should have maybe 2 to a maximum of 3 phrases in a keyword. And now it's actually you should have at least 4 or 5 words, because the competition is much bigger, one for one, and B, many people are using voice search. And so, of course, then you can say much longer. You can ask a whole question, and not just type in 3 words or something. So that is one of the things that has changed. I think what has never changed is that you should really try to, but it has become more important, you need to really nail down with your article the keywords search intent. You need to figure out what is the person looking for when they are typing in how to edit my photo. Well, this is probably relatively clear because they're looking for tutorials or something. But if they just put in, let's say, balloon art, then you don't know whether they are just want to buy one or they want to make one, or, so you have to kind of figure out what the search intent is, because if you miss the search intent, if people are just looking to buy something and you have a how-to article, you will never rank. And we actually just recently, Nivoy, our founder, he released a new book. It's called Make Your Site Win Again. And
Which is going to be down in the description below. I'm going to make sure to put it, okay? Because
Okay.
I'm now interested about the book.
Yes, but it's at the moment it's not available for non-customers. It's really for our own customers. But we will post about it, some excerpts on our blog post, on our blog, on the SiteSell blog. And he wrote it because you probably have heard about Google's helpful content update.
If I heard about it, we have people here that's gonna be chilling right now just because you mentioned it over. Okay, so yes,
I know.
we know about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one, and then also the following one, then in March, and then in August, and so many updates. And unfortunately, many of our own customers also got impacted, myself included, with my own website, which was doing quite well. And now it's so Google traffic really went down. And now we are trying to give them real actionable steps how to recover from those updates and also make their sites, if they're maybe just starting out, as algorithm change resistant as possible. So that was the reason behind developing the book, writing the book. A lot of research, many hours went into it, and so the first part is kind of theoretical, and the second part is really steps how to recover your traffic. And to help people do that, we also created several GPTs. So that's these kind of mini programs that you can do in ChatGPT. And one of them, for example, is called KSI, or keyword search intent. And so so you put in the keyword that you want to write about, and it goes out and it's programmed to bring back the main search intent for this keyword and give some additional recommendations around it. And maybe there's a secondary search intent, and just guides you towards what type of content you should create if you want to rank for this keyword.
Wow, that's actually nice to know.
Yeah. And
it is.
There are 3 more. We have one, it's called Keyword Rank Analyst. For that one, you also put in your focus keyword, and then the URL of your web page. And then it analyzes the web page and tells you how well you met the search intent. Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? What should you add? What should you improve if you want to rank this specific page better?
Well,
So
I imagine, of course, it makes sense that it brings value to your product, but this is also only available for your customers, right?
for now, yes.
I'm putting this out because folks who are watching us who have way more than one reason why you should become a customer of Margit, why you should test the program, the software itself. We're giving them so many reasons, right?
Yes.
To make sure that they at least click on the website. I'm sure people will do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have one last question, because even though, as I said, I have 1,000, we are short on time and we need to move forward, which is a pity. But I can already tell folks that you're going to be back if you want. This conversation can go around so many different topics that why not have Margit back at the show, right?
Okay.
But this is
Sounds
for
good.
this. Yeah, of course. But this is something that we can talk in the future. We talked about content and the importance of well-written content. We talked about email marketing. We talked about starting your own business, the importance of AI, the importance of knowing how to use AI. And you've been giving us valuable advices and informations and insights across all these topics. But now I always save this for the last to my guests, and I'm looking forward to your answer. Do you have a advice that you could give to those starting now who want to work with email marketing, who want to work with business optimization the same way that you're working? Or let's just say for those who are growing in the wilderness and want to work with cats and dogs, as you and I both love, whatever, can you give them something for them to start their day inspired by you?
Well, that's a tough one. You should have warned me.
I never warned my guests about it because I want the raw information. I want to see the reaction.
Yes. Okay. Well, apart from, of course, joining Solo Build It, if your goal in life is to build an online business, I would say trust your instincts.
Okay.
So just think about what makes you light up, what brings you joy. What do you really like doing? What do you can't stop talking about with your friends and so on? What do they tell you you are good at? Sometimes it's a bit difficult to find out. And I'm having a kind of a love and hate relationship with the word passion. Because
Makes sense.
yeah,
I understand what you mean.
we tell people build a passion-based business, or your business should be based on your passion. Then no day ever feels like, or no work ever feels like work, or something like that. But I often have trouble figuring out my own passion. I have quite many interests, and yeah, I do love cats, as you know. So far, I haven't really found a way to make money with them. It's more that they are costing me quite a lot of money.
Yes, true. It is true.
But still, if you find a way to combine what you really love doing with how to make money, then that's the best thing you can do. If that's not possible, then at least try to get a job that you feel okay with and that hopefully pays well enough, so that then you have the means to support the causes and the organizations you believe in.
So out of sense. Wow, that's it, everybody. Margit here for us. Margit, thank you so much for everything. It was simply stunning getting to know you and everything that you do. I wasn't lying when I told you that I wanted you to be back. So let's schedule this for over the year. You have so much more to share with us. I know this, and people will want to make sure that you're here back again. But this is it for today. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the talk. Anybody else, you have Margit's own links here down in the description below. If you're coming from LinkedIn or any other social media, go check the post. She will definitely be mentioned over there. And you already know how this works. I'll be here eventually. If you have any questions about how to grow your business, you know who to look for, not me. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, everybody who's watching until this time. Margit, thank you for being here. Catch you all the next time.
Yes.
And until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.